He's known for sockers.
And yeah, in a moment, it'll sound like we know what we're talking about. And that'll mean that the audio is ready to go.
Word up.
Yeah. So ado, without ado or either delay, um, I think we'll get ready for the audio. How you feel about it, Quest?
I feel good.
I'm
Quiet on the
trying.
set.
I'm trying not to say the trigger words because I knew you was gonna try to. I knew you was gonna do that.
Hey, quiet on the set.
Peace, y'all. Let's get into it. Hey, yo, Quest, it's time to give the people something, man. What we talking about today?
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Yeah, man, it's your boy Quest. Welcome to another edition of the Marriage Ain't for Suckers podcast. I'm your host with the most alongside my co-host, my man, my man, L. David Harris and MC.
What up, Kev?
What up, man?
Yeah, we here, bro.
Yeah, man.
But before we get down too far, hello.
Class is in session. Pull up a seat.
Doubt, no doubt. Let me tell y'all something, man. Shouts out to D first and foremost because I get to do this with him every week. No doubt. Always good to see your face, bro, and be able to wax deep on this thing we love.
One love, man.
Indeed. Shouts out to the state of Florida, specifically
The whole state.
yeah, the whole specifically Sarasota. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's the whole state, but I'm definitely gonna say shouts out to Sarasota, to
Okay.
Longboat Key, to Anna Maria Island, to Coquino Beach, to Siesta Key Beach. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? All
Okay.
them areas right there. You know what I'm saying? My future home, because my wife is definitely feeling it like,
She
and
got a
hope.
little sea breeze and it
Now
just
I'm just
yeah.
telling you. Hopefully that will be the transition, because once you get something, you want it over and over again. And hopefully, I'll take on a couple of trips, and she'd be like, "You know what, Daddy? I'm finally seeing what you saw all this time." And I'm just gonna say, "Praise God, pack it up." You know, praise God, pack it up.
Say no more.
You know what I'm saying? How do young people say now? Say less. That's how they do. Oh, word, say less.
Really, I never heard it, but I
Oh
guess
yeah,
I
that's what
never.
the young. Yeah, that's
I
what
said
they saying now. It's new. You know what I'm saying? They be like, "Word, say less."
that's good. That's
So
rich.
yeah, so yeah, man. Shouts out to Florida. Yeah, shouts out to my moms and my pops, man. We had a lovely week visiting with them last week. Nico and Mason, the beach bums that they are. Zoe was there as well, with her little girlfriend Zoe. So it was two Zoes in the building.
Two
Um,
Zoes.
two Zoes, bro. Zoe and Zoe. 101
Interesting.
and I call my Zoe Josephine. So yeah, they enjoyed themselves, man. And it was really more exposure than anything else. I wanted them to see the fullness of what life really can be like. And even
Mhm.
more when you go to places like they said Dick Vitale has a house over there on Anna Maria Island. And I mean, just going over there, bro, the houses were like everything. It's everything Miami is in the Gulf. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just to get the kids out there and just to let them enjoy themselves, man. Yeah, unlike anything else, man. And
Beautiful.
yeah, I'm thankful that yeah, to spend the time with the family and get that little bit of time. And yeah, Faith is, yeah, she barely let me touch my phone, but that's another story.
Good for you. No, really, it was good for you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, indeed it
Good for
was.
your
Because
love,
sometimes,
man.
yeah, you just need a reset button sometimes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Lovely.
So yeah, man. What's good on the? I already know what's up on the JA side, but tell the people what I already know.
Life is life.
Yeah, no doubt.
But true enough, I don't have no vehicle class. I'm stuck at the house. I'm at the house. I got no vehicle. I don't even have the loaner no more.
Is wifey is still here on the state side?
She's here.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. She right
Okay.
here. She right outside that door.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, man. So, it is what it is, man. Let's get deeper into this thing, man, and and jump this joint off.
Mm.
Um, as always, we're gonna shout out Breathe University. You know what I'm saying? When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you will be successful. For those of you who know anything about ET, who is like for real, the brain work behind him and CJ and Josh, the brain work behind everything we do at Breathe. Critically acclaimed author, world renowned speaker, educator, and now pastor. He just opened up his church this weekend, and what an event it was. Um,
Mm.
Better known by taking the world by storm with creative style and high energy messages. His words continue to impact tens of millions and millions of people in several hundred countries across the planet through a significant social media presence and his recent domestic and international tours, and continues verified being one of them, and 1% coming up real soon. Um, for real, it's been amazing to watch him, but more importantly, it's amazing to see what he's done in the lives of people and wants to do in the lives of people. And for real, what he's done is created a community where people are not only learners and learn and continuing to learn, but also in support. They want to see other people in their environment learn, push, and succeed as well.
Mm.
And if you are looking for any community, I'm sorry, family, that will do that for you, give you the push that you need, and give you some of the dopest information that will allow you to execute in ways that you're just not executing right now. Don't
Mm-hmm.
take my word for it. Just go by the website and find out. You got two of them. You got etinspires.com,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Especially if you want to find out more about all the events that are coming up. And you have breatheuniversity.com. Do me a favor, go by and start the journey.
That's beautiful, man.
Heard up.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that this program is brought to you by Audible. Get
Yep.
your 30-day free trial and audio book. You can download it for free, right? At audibletrial.com/marriage.
Mhm.
With more than 180,000 titles from which to choose for your Android, iPhone, Kindle, or MP3 player. And we'd like for you to download something, hopefully something related to forging good relationships, but you can download whatever you want to download.
Mhm.
And please return to wherever you're listening this program or watching and let us know what it was so other people might enjoy it. www.audibletrial.com/marriage. Go ahead and
Word.
get it. Go get it. Go get it now.
Word up. Word
Whatever
up.
it is, go get it.
Word up.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today, D?
Yeah. We're talking about humility.
Oh, wow.
That's a big word.
That's a big word.
And I think sometimes people have crafted like sort of a narrative about what that looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like for me, for instance, I'm a laid back dude, straight up,
Mm-hmm.
right? Don't start none, won't be none. So is that laid back? I don't know. Like if nobody starts nothing, then there is nothing, right?
Right.
But I'm not sure. Is that laid back? I guess I'm not the one to run to the fight. I'm not there. I'm not going to argue. I do not argue. 100% of the time, I do not argue with anybody about anything. I don't raise my voice, right? But something happened one time. I was in an office with somebody, well, a few bodies, and talking about, there was a woman who I didn't know talking about something that I do know intimately about my school setting. One of the universities where I worked, right? And she's telling me this story, and I'm like, nah, that is not nearly true. So the person who told you that was not telling you the truth. And it wasn't a matter of mistaking. the truth because the person was the one responsible for the information that she was hearing, right? I was like, yeah, it's not true. And so then this woman proceeded to basically say, well, maybe it was above your pay grade.
I love it.
Like, I didn't know that I had a trigger, Quest.
Yeah.
And I don't worry about the pay grade thing. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean nothing to me.
Yeah.
But she was like, because I'm in the culture now, right? So it's like, oh, the reason why is because we didn't let you in to let you know. What was your position again? No, that was the people that were up here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I was like, oh, you don't know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, who said that? I'm looking around and everybody in the room is like, what? Now, a couple of prankster types thought that was hilarious. I thought it was me yielding my self-control, and I didn't know where it came from because who said that? I've never said anything like that, ever. Not because I wasn't trying, not because I was trying not to. It's just not normally my thing. But clearly there was a trigger because for a good period of time, people been trying to figure out who I am and blaming me for stuff that I didn't do, blaming me for trying to be somebody. And I'm like, you have no idea that I'm already somebody.
Yeah.
But just because I don't flex like y'all flex, all of a sudden now, it's above my pay grade. Like, who says that to a stranger, right?
Yeah.
And so to me, what it let me know in the context of what we're talking about is that humility is, and by the way, it wasn't above my pay grade because I got links, B. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But so for me, the simple fact of me thinking that and saying that says to me, oh, wait a minute, maybe I wasn't as humble as I thought, or maybe it was conditionally. Don't start none, won't be none.
Yeah.
I've had enough of y'all flexing like you're somebody and I'm nobody just because I don't name drop, just because I don't tell you what I've done. I don't ream out my resume every time you have something to say. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, that wasn't positive. What just happened?
Yeah.
Right. So what if you do that in your household?
Yeah. But even before you get to that, D,
Yeah.
there is sometimes this need to feel important or significant, sometimes to the point where it becomes a fault, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there are a number of different things, and we're going to get into them in a minute, right? But at the end of the day, as you were leading into, sometimes people like to move on this or ride the wave of reputation, if you will, as opposed to riding the wave of work. And
Yeah.
some people like to have the reputation sometimes for work that you hadn't even done, but you like to make it seem like you did all of this and you have all of these different connections, whatever the case may be, and may not necessarily be so. And the reason why, when we were talking about it, I was saying, okay, this is the reason why the assessment is so dope as it relates to marriages, relationships, or just anything across the board, and knowing who you are and how you're wired. That's number one, knowing who you are and how you're wired, right? And I think the word that perfectly, or the phrase that perfectly describes knowing who you are and how you're wired is aware. You are aware of your highs and your lows. You're aware of when you're operating at the height of how you're wired and when you're operating on the low end, or if you're adapting, right? And when you don't know that, what you have a tendency to do is to operate on autopilot, or a program, if you will, right? Which says, okay, I'm in this situation. I'm about to face this situation. This situation is just like every other situation, right? Well, similar to some other situations that I've faced in the past. And because it's similar or starting out the same way, even though if we just took the time to look at it, we would see it's a different situation, right? We respond the same way.
Let me give that scenario that
Yeah.
came to my mind when you were saying it to me, because I'm not sure people got it.
Yeah.
So for me, from my background, unfortunately, I came up in a bad situation, right? I'll just
Mhm.
keep it at that. You'll see by the scenario. So for me, even when I was young, it was like, don't start and I won't be none. Well, I was a victim first. And it
Mhm.
was like, please don't start none because I can't do nothing about it.
Mhm.
And then I got to the point where it was like, don't start and I won't be none. Right.
Mhm.
So, okay, you're a Christian. Let's just pick a normal, just normal circumstance. You go to a church and you need to
Mhm.
sit down on something
Yep.
inside the church.
Word up.
And then the usher or whoever's there, as you're literally about to sit down, your hamstring touches the seat, right? And so then the rest of you's about to actually let gravity do it, then boom, and you sit down, you're comfortable, right? And they
Mhm.
say, oh no, you can't sit there. But they say it in a tone that triggers something in you. What might it trigger? If it's somebody like me, I'm not saying this happened to me, but
Mhm.
maybe that affront of somebody telling you what you can't do is like it would be for me if a man come and put a gun in my face and tell me what I'm gonna do. I'm telling you, this is real. Like
Mhm.
somebody come and put a gun in my face and say, you gonna do X, Y, or Z. I'm
Mhm.
thinking, no, I'm not gonna do that until or unless you make me do that. Because I don't
Mhm.
function just because you have the what they call a force multiplier, just because you have something that gives you the mind that you have the upper hand.
Mhm.
I'm appalled that you think that that is going to manipulate my movements. So
Absolutely.
you're going to actually have to make me do it because I'm not going to do it simply because you commanded me to, because you got your little force multiplier. Why not? Because I'm not afraid to die. So that's your first problem. And
Mhm.
then I won't say anything sinful, right?
Yeah.
So that is some crazy extreme.
Mhm.
And all the man or woman said to you at the church was, you can't sit here.
Yep.
So if I translate, you can't sit here, maybe they didn't even say can't. Maybe they said, sir, could you please, because there's a woman right there. She didn't say it or he didn't say it, but there's a woman right there who has prosthesis. And then if they go to this part of the church, it makes it more difficult to move over there. So we keep this seat for him or her. And
Mhm.
I'm hearing, you can't do that, right?
Yep. Yep.
And now I'm gonna pop because I'm thinking about somebody putting a gun in my face, commanding me. Simon says, "Do this," and I'm not trying
Absolutely.
to hear it.
Absolutely. And
Right?
so, yep. Go ahead. Go ahead, D.
That's it.
Yep. Absolutely. So, like I'm saying now, that thing serves as your trigger because you're unaware of who you are when these situations happen.
Yeah.
And so you move to autopilot and you respond like you do every other time. What you mean I can't sit here? I don't see nobody name on the seat. Oh, you understand what I'm saying?
I'm
And that,
already sitting here. You gonna pick me up and move me? It's like when you
absolutely.
go in the gym and you say, "Are you using this?" It's really a rhetorical question because if you wouldn't have to ask if they were physically using it because you could see them using it.
Yeah.
And they
Yep.
say, "Yeah, I'm using it," but you see them on something else, and they're like, "I'm using both." Well, you're not using both because I'm using this right now physically while we're
Yep.
talking. So what
Yep.
you do, pick me up and move me?
Yep.
Now you have boom a problem again.
Yep. As opposed to being aware of who you are
Yeah,
and simply pausing and thinking that there has to be a reason why she's asking me. And you can do one of two things: either say, okay, and move to another place. Or if you must know, I'm sorry, ma'am, is there any particular reason why I can't sit here? At which point she's going to explain to you the whole prosthesis leg on the woman. And now what was a perceived problem is no longer a problem because
yeah.
you're like, oh, you don't want to be the jerk who takes the seat of a woman who has a prosthesis leg,
No,
who makes it easier to exit in case she needs to go to the bathroom, right?
right.
What am I saying? Be aware. But there's on the flip side of that as well, right? When when you take the assessment, we have the D, the I, the S, the C. Some are very high gorillas, others are very high flamingos. You will have some that are high turtles, some that are high chameleons. Let me explain something to you. Not every situation will call for the fullness of who you are and how you're
True,
wired.
true.
There will be times, D, where you're gonna literally have to dial back. Like imagine, we were talking about this before. My wife is 88 or 99 turtle, if I'm not mistaken. In any case, she's a high turtle, very structured, very detailed. Um, she needs time to process information, right? So, case in point, if I always am at the foot like, yeah, whoa, you know what I'm saying, and wilding out, right? Especially when we're watching movies. If I'm giving her a commentary throughout the movie while she's trying to process the information as it comes, when I do that every time, being the fullness of who I am as a flamingo, that can literally drain her emotionally, drain her as she's trying to process. Like, I'm trying to hear what's going on in the movie. It can literally drain her, right?
Yeah.
So what does that say? That means that I'm going to have to learn how to adapt certain times and dial back who I am in terms of a flamingo. Because what's going to end up happening? She's not going to be able to trust me in the areas of quality time. And one of the things that she likes to do during quality time when we spend together is watch a movie together. Now, I can't wait until after the movie to give commentary because I'm too busy doing it during the movie, right? And so she gonna get to the point where she like, you know what, for real, I can't trust you to keep your mouth closed until the end of the movie. Guess what? I'm gonna be watching movies on my own. And here's the funny thing: she may not even say it to me until after the fact. I found out that she saw it on her own already. And at that point, whose fault is it?
That
It's
would be
yep,
yours.
but it's mine because I was not aware of who I am and who I am in the fullness of who I am. But when I'm aware, I turn the program off. I adapt to what the situation is calling for. Yep. And I dial back. Why? Because if I don't,
Yeah. We've driven a wedge unnecessarily because, really and truly, objectively speaking, with the scenario that you gave, objectively speaking, I mean, at first you might say, well, I enjoy talking through the movie. But objective, and so why do I need to behave another way? Well, objectively, like whatever it is that you're watching, like me, if it's a commercial, and I don't even like commercials, but I'm trying to hear the details. Maybe they're selling one of those as seen on TV belts, and I need a new belt. And my son or wife starts talking. This is like real scenario stuff. I am so like thrown off because I really want to know if they're going to say, but wait, there's more. You get two belts for the price of one. Like I'm waiting for that trigger, right? And so I'm rolling my eyes and then I'm waiting to hit the rewind button on the TV so I could see if I can get two belts for one, right? So objectively, yes, these things are playing so you can hear them. But then again, it's like, how do we compromise? Like, how do we not get crazy because I missed the deal and I could have just dialed it back?
mm-hmm.
Or contextualize the thing another way, like, okay, we come together to watch this thing, but really and truly, I'm not going to be able to watch it because homeboy like talking a lot and I can't stop him, but maybe I'll watch it again when I can like just watch it.
Absolutely.
So we have to find a way not to not be ourselves, but at the same time compromise or concede even.
But to your point, D, you said, why do I have to dial back? And I want to talk through the movie too. I have to dial back because I can talk at any time.
Like, why right this
The
moment?
conversation is going to be rich, whether it be during the movie or after the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be even more rich. And she's going to even be able to take more part in the conversation because she has taken in all the details.
Yeah.
And she can now have stuff to draw from. For a flamingo, it's not a problem to draw from anything to have any kind of conversation. Why? Because we can bring it, because we are more emotionally connected than most people. Why? And what causes us to remember things is that there's situations that happen, we attach a feeling to it, and then boom, it's burned into our memory.
Yeah.
Other people are not like that. Or let's even flip it now. We go on vacation. And because she's as detailed as she is, right? She was like, okay, at 9 o'clock, we're going to have breakfast. At 11 o'clock, we're not. We're not going to do none of that. We're going to fly by the seat of our pants because we are on vacation. There is no need.
They look up vacation in the dictionary.
Oh, come on.
It's objective. Yeah.
I'm just saying, look, you know what I'm saying? Like, we do that on the Monday through Friday when we at work, and when we do it, like, no. We came here to, like, for real, unplug.
My sister sent something, an itinerary about, something that, that's coming up in the future, right? And I was like, and it had all these details, but it don't have nothing to do with me. It has something to do with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wrong recipient. You just sent it to the wrong person. Like, you're making my head spin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to read this
Mm-hmm.
because even though I'm a planner, I compartmentalize. Even if it did concern me, I wouldn't want an itinerary about vacation. I
There you
wouldn't
go.
want an itinerary about what we're going to do on a cruise ship. I wouldn't want that if I'm going to a resort
I'm
at
telling
this time. Unless somebody's serving at some restaurant at this time, that thing that I want to eat, I really am not trying to hear all of that. And if you
you.
send me a list, it's going to make my head go like that if I read it, because I do that with everything else in my life. So I need to be able to shut that off, even though me, like Faith and I are similar in that area.
Yep.
But in that little silo, I'm like, nah, I'm not trying to hear none of that. Like, no,
No,
do not
none.
give me a list because I'm not reading it. Please. Yeah.
Yep. And it goes back to the whole biblical principle. There's a time and
Yes.
for everything under the sun. Yep. And sometimes the time for who we are, wired in the fullness of who we are, may not be for that time.
Paul said all things lawful are not necessarily all things expedient.
Oh, come on.
So timing and context are key with a lot of this stuff,
I'm telling you.
you know?
And D, my whole thing behind this is literally to know who you are and how you're wired. Why? Because if you know who you are and how you're wired, then you can be aware. It doesn't happen overnight. It
Mm-mm.
just gives you the tools to realize that when this situation comes, is this situation requiring the fullness of me, or for me to dial back or even be a part of the situation at all?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's when life really starts taking a change. Yeah.
Yeah. Simone said about me the other day, she physically showed me the scenario, but she was basically like, if somebody gives you, meaning me, a standard right here, what I do is basically jump off a trampoline and do a flip and dunk it and break the backboard purposely. She actually said stand on it.
Yeah.
And I said that's kind of true. Like if you give me a standard, I want to overperform it. Not because I need to prove anything, but I don't feel satisfied until I
Mm-hmm.
over what do you call it? Deliver.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that's the case, what if you have a spouse though? She didn't say it in this context. She was just telling me about something I'm going through right now. But what if you have a spouse who feels threatened by that kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, why you gotta be so whatever they say that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, do I need to stop being me, or is the spouse insecure, or does it even matter? Is there something I need to do so that my spouse doesn't feel tiny?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, there's
again,
a
that's
reason.
not my scenario, but I've seen that happen.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But to that point, there's a reason why they're responding the way that they're responding.
Mm-hmm.
Could it possibly be that they're threatened and don't understand the way that you're wired? If you're a gorilla, results at the end of the day is all that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And
Otherwise,
what
why do we do this? What's the
absolutely
purpose?
exactly. And
Yeah.
you're wired the way that you are, and you can't change it even if you wanted to, right? Unless some major life experience happens, and that happens to be the thing that changes it, right? But for the most part, you are who you are. And
Mm-hmm.
if they understood who they were and how they were wired and who you are and how you're wired, I bet that that whole situation changes.
Yeah, because it's a win-win. Like say Simone was like what I described. Like she would have to understand that, first of all, I do that without telling nobody. That's the
Mm-hmm.
first thing. So it's not that I'm making anybody's life miserable, right? But if somebody's threatened by it in your own household, then they have to see how this is a benefit to them too.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a matter of hurting anybody's feelings. It's not a matter, you don't compete with your spouse. If you do, something's very wrong with you.
Absolutely.
Compete with them for what? Like about what? People do it. But the point is, humility says, no, allow somebody, unless it's wickedness, allow somebody to be who they are,
Mm-hmm.
unchallenged. Do not become a speed bump to slow whoever it is down from being who they are, unless, again, it's evil. And don't feel threatened by, don't feel superior to, don't just love, like love and what they say, love and let live.
Yep. Yep.
Love me or leave me alone.
Yep.
Right. And so we have to allow our spouses to be who they are. And if
Absolutely.
there's a need for growth, that's a different discussion. But just generically, your spouse is going to be who he or she is. And a person who's convinced against his or her will are of the same opinion still.
The moment that I find out who I am and how I'm wired, I have no time to focus on my spouse and who they need to be or are not being or are. I have no, because now I understand my deficiencies. And if there are any improvements that need to be made, the first person that I need to do that with is me first. Know
Yeah.
who I am, know how I'm wired. If you want to take the assessment, contact your boy and we'll see how to make that happen for real.
Yeah, man. Well, I took the free preliminary joint. I liked it.
I
So,
liked it. Stay
yeah, man.
focused.
Peace. All right, y'all.
Word.
Yeah, man. So it's good to see you back in in the home on the home front. But yeah, I'm gonna start needing to see a little bit more palm trees and mango
Man,
like your mommy got over there, man. And
man, come on, man. She sent us back with a big sack full of mangoes. I'm about to go demolish one in a little bit before my session, man. But bruh, let me tell you something. Keep praying for your boy D.
yeah, man. So we're gonna go ahead and let y'all go. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let y'all
Yeah.
go, man.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna push up one like this and then flip it over and just say peace.